right, thanks for being here. Appreciate you spending some time with us. We're going to talk about violence in our streets. We're going to get to the East Valley violences in East Valley City and Gilbert trying to do something. State wasn't able to get some things done as far as weapons go. They were trying to ban brass knuckles, and we can get into all of the reasons why or why not that's a good idea, but we'll get to that in a moment. But a Phoenix police officer was stabbed in the area of 17th Avenue and Bell Road on Sunday. Now, fortunately, we are hearing that it's not life-threatening injuries, but we also had last week an off-duty Phoenix police officer working in an off-duty detail was told of a robbery in progress, approached and was shot, never even returned fire. So it sounds like, and I don't have the information, it was an ambush-style attack. The violence in our community. Now, we know that violent crimes are going down. Homicides are down 11% in Phoenix. There has been this continued idea that people believe that it's okay to commit acts of violence against police officers. And I got to tell you, it's a frustrating thing that happens, and I'll tell you why. When you look at the police department and the authority figures that they used to be, I admire the profession. I'm unapologetically pro-law enforcement. I think most people know I say it very often. I think it's a difficult job. I think it requires split-second decisions that can actually alter not only your life, but the lives of the people around you. And police officers are held to a very, very high standard. There was a story that came out about a 16-year veteran of the Phoenix Police Department that was under investigation for quite a long time through federal authorities, and it turns out he's been arrested by the FBI, and it has to do with child porn. And I've talked to some people in law enforcement about this case specifically, and again, this is an accusation. No one's been convicted of anything, but to a person that I talk to in law enforcement, everyone I talk to about this case specifically is disgusted by it. They want this cop gone as soon as possible, that he has nothing to do with law enforcement, that anybody who would commit an act against a child is a horrible human being to begin with, and they want nothing to do with it. The idea that law enforcement covers up for bad actors within their ranks and has led to this idea that really the people that we've always counted as heroes are really the bad guys. That attitude shift, when you look at the officer-involved shootings that have happened, we go back to talking about Officer Tyler Moldovan. I remember the hours after that happened and speaking with the command staff at Phoenix PD. Now, a different command staff than we have now. This was with the former Chief Jerry Williams. But the looks of horror on their face, the absolute sadness that they were feeling in this ambush attack. And it wasn't just because cops understand that their job is dangerous. The absolute brutality in the attack against Officer Moldovan was so over the top that it shocked even the most seasoned officers. There was another officer, she was part of a gang task force, and she was ambushed. And because of her training, she was undercover, so she wasn't wearing a bulletproof vest. But she saw this attack coming, and she was able to get her bulletproof vest on in time and was still injured, but it saved her life. Another Phoenix police officer was investigating at 19th Avenue and in Union Hills Drive. Another officer was investigating a domestic violence situation, and the suspect pulled up in a car and just opened fire and shot this officer right underneath her bulletproof vest in the abdomen. Again, she lived, but just because people live from these injuries doesn't mean that they aren't life-altering injuries. And in many cases, it takes years for any level of serious recovery. So I bring this up because violence in our community is always there. But the idea that there are so many people that believe that they can just commit acts of violence against anyone, I think there's an attitude shift, and people are going back to the idea that law enforcement are the good people, that we should be listening to what they have to say, that we should be holding them up as the authority figures. When they walk into a scene and they give a lawful command, most people comply. I've been pulled over before. I tell this story often. We just imagine however we respond to law enforcement is how all of society, or even the majority of society, responds. If I get pulled over, especially if it's at night, but even during the day, I put down all of my windows. I have my hands right on the steering wheel or even on the door jamb, so an officer or trooper, deputy, whatever, can see that my hands are where they can see them, that I'm concerned about their safety. I will notify them as soon as they get to the vehicle that I have a firearm in the vehicle and where it is in the vehicle. I want them to know that no matter what happens, if they write me a ticket or whatever I've done that got me pulled over, that I'm concerned about their safety. And you will see a shift in the concern, and not even attitude, but they are on alert as they approach a vehicle. They don't know who you are or what you're capable of. And until they ascertain that they feel safe with you, I don't reach for anything. I don't reach for my driver's license. I don't reach for my insurance or my registration, which I keep in the same place. I don't reach for anything until they tell me that I can. Now, I've had officers be as calm as to say to me about my firearm, if you don't reach for yours, I won't reach for mine. Just don't make any sudden movements. I have had officers ask if they could remove the firearm, and I don't care about either one. My point is, in the way you respond to law enforcement, understanding that they deal with people that would stab them in the neck at a QT, or would shoot them as they approach a robbery in progress, or shoot them during investigations, that they have to be on alert. And those split-second decisions they have to make on whether they pull their firearms and they get in a gunfight or they don't could be the matter of life and death. And we've got to address these issues of this huge amount of violence in our society.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.